The Lakers sale raising questions about how a $12.5 billion deal for one of the NBA's biggest teams could happen with so little notice.
And so quickly.
Right.
The team's majority owner, Mark Walter, has sold the team to former Disney CEO Bob Iger and Josh Kushner. The $12.5 billion deal came together in just 3 days.
Unbelievable.
But the Wall Street Journal is reporting federal prosecutors are investigating Walter for massive loan fraud. Legal analysts say the Lakers sale could have made Walter even more money if it hadn't happened so quickly. Bloomberg's reporting that Walter's firm is now trying to raise cash to help pay down the loans under federal scrutiny. Walter will still be keeping his other LA team, including the teams. He's got the Sparks and the Dodgers. Sale still requires approval from the NBA's Board of Governors.
Well, joining us now to discuss the sale and what it means for the team is the founder and CEO of the Sporting Tribune, Arash Markazi. Arash, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so first we just want to talk about what do you make of this sale and the timing of it?
I mean, just shocking. I mean, we've never seen a professional sports franchise, certainly one of the stature of the Lakers, sold twice in a calendar year. Again, important to note, the sale wasn't finalized in terms of league approval until November. So this is less than a calendar year. And so when I saw the figure, again, the first thing you're thinking is Mark Walter needs cash, and not a little bit of cash, obviously, $12.5 billion. And so there's a lot of questions here that we're not going to fully know until that investigation plays out. But obviously, Kushner and Bob Iger, were basically told maybe, hey, listen, I think Mark needs money, and I think if you give him like an offer he can't refuse, you might get the Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow.
Well, when we talk about this federal investigation, what are we really looking at here? Obviously, there's so many details we don't know. There's so many questions that are out there. But what, from your reporting, have you kind of come to understand what's taking place?
I mean, the interesting thing in the Wall Street Journal report that you mentioned is that he needs close to $16 billion in terms of that's what is being looked at in terms of like the loan fraud. So again, according to the Dodgers, and again, Stan Kasten talked to the media prior to the game yesterday. He said this does not affect the Dodgers. All that being said, if you've always dreamed of owning the Dodgers and you got $12 billion on hand, I'd pick up the phone and call Mark Walter. He will certainly listen to your phone call.
Okay. And of course, this is just a one-year flip, which seems so quick for such a huge franchise.
It's never been done before.
Right. I mean, it's very strange. And also, what does it mean for the staff? Of course, you still have Jeannie Buss as governor. So does that provide some stability for the people behind the scenes?
It's such a great question because, again, Mark Walter had a deal in place with Jeannie Buss where she would be the governor of the team for the next 5 years. And when the California Post talked to Bob Iger, he said something that if I'm an employee, I would hate to hear. He said, it is my intention to honor that, but if things happen, things happen. By the way, like that last sentence is wild. Like,
that's wild.
If you're an employee and you're like, is my job secure? And you hear, well, if things happen, they happen. So again, the one thing that I said yesterday, billionaires don't spend billions of dollars to have other people do what they did before. At some point in time, they're going to bring in their own people. So there's a lot of like discomfort. There's a lot of uncertainty with the Lakers. To your point, they were beginning to bring in their own people. And now before they even put up the pictures and their poster in their like office in El Segundo, they might be looking for work. And so there's just a lot of questions out there.
Well, I mean, that's what happens, right? Whenever new ownership comes in, is they're going to bring in their own people. When you have this in less than a year, I mean, are there some positions right now that maybe we're going to go through that are now frozen? This seems like chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the process of hiring an assistant general manager, assistant communications director. One of the things that they had done is they were really kind of putting all things under one roof. Again, the Dodgers and the Lakers. So they had a lot of the same people working on partnerships and sponsorships and ticket sales and things like that. Obviously, that's going to not be the case moving forward because they're not under the same roof. Again, this is still a process that's going to play out for a couple of months. But again, these guys will be approved by the league. They were already, the league knows both of them very well. They were the favorites to get the expansion team in Las Vegas. When that figure for that expansion team rose to the point of like $9 to $10 billion, I think they looked at each other and said, well, shoot, if we're going to play $10 billion, let's try to get the most significant franchise in the league.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a team that's not even developed yet versus the most coveted team in basketball. This is not even a question. For the players, just really quickly, I saw Luka Doncic tweeted out. I mean, it seems like they're just focused on the game. They're just going to keep their heads down.
Yeah, I mean, this will not affect the court, what happens on the court. JJ is still the coach, and Luka's still the star player. And again, they signed a lot of players to like long-term contracts, so those guys are fine. But there's just a lot of uncertainty around the building right now.
Well, we'll keep watching for sure.
We sure will, because
as
there's a lot
the world
more questions.
turns with the Lakers.
Thank you for joining us with the latest, Arash. Good to see you.
Thanks.